this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
No.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. 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 I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen vs. the World. I'm Septum Sen, this is Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And we're here, finally, after saying so. We originally scheduled this for what, November?
I believe that was the plan, and then Copa ruined our plan, and we set a new plan.
We thought that the channel might be closed.
Right.
But, so, this is the NIS collection. We've divided it into two big parts, and in between we'll have small parts. You'll be able to see this as a finished project, so if you're coming to this after it's done, it'll be on a we'll have this on a nice little NIS playlist, so you'll be able to just watch it all the way through. So essentially, we're going to go through the entire NIS anime catalog. NIS America is a producer of video games, essentially.
Nippon Ichi Software.
Kind of anime-related video games. One of the most famous of which is Disgaea.
Dude.
So, yes. And with that being said, they came up with these really cool anime options, these premium sets for decent amounts of money. And they ran for a number of years. But they went under. Well, they didn't go under. They stopped doing their anime.
Well, more like they just kind of faded away and haven't really told anyone what's going on.
They've let go a lot of their license, and they just...
Most of the licenses they've let go are Aniplex titles, and I think Aniplex aggressively bought them back.
Yeah, they charge exorbitant amounts.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it is kind of sad to see them basically be inactive on this. And I thought an analysis of their films and their series would be worthwhile. So what we're going to do is Jake and I are going to go in, and we've got this chart, and I am going to let me get a picture of this chart. I'm going to take a snapshot, and then I will put it up on the board. Let's see here. All right. So I'm going to take a snapshot right here.
Yeah.
I gotta. Yep. Let me. Here it goes. All right. So, and now you can see it up here through magic. And with that,
how'd you do that?
with that, you'll be able to see the ratings. So far it's. You've got masterpiece, you've got good, you've got so-so, you've got poor, and you've got awful. So 2 good, 1 meh, and 2 bad. Likelihood is it's going to be mostly in the good. But it's kind of cool to look at these and just see where they all stack up as a whole, as a company, and just kind of give them a bit of a tribute, really, because they were an awesome anime release. We look forward to each title they would game because they were affordable and they were awesome releases,
And we
as you're going to see.
some of them.
So we're going to just go through in order of series, not order of release necessarily, but the series that they released. So, for instance, our first one
it's not the order of release? I thought it was.
Well, it's order of release, but not order of, like, what's the word? Basically, for instance, the first one, they did a re-release of it. We're not going to come back and say, well, this is the re-release, now we're going to rate the re-release. It's just, we'll talk about all of one series.
Per title.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that'll help us shorten our time. We've watched a lot of them. I've watched all of them. Jake has watched a good portion of them, and he's going to come back in small videos as he watches those to catch up, do little ratings of it, and eventually we're going to show the finished product at the very end video. We'll do a little epilogue where we discuss our thoughts after we hit the end. But the big ones are going to be in 2 parts. So, I guess we'll get started. They really released 2 titles at the same time. Some people, when they do lists like this, they have one release that is higher than the other. But they start with this one, so I think that's good because this is pretty much the release I started with. Well,
and also because this will be the first of the 4 that the one of the first 4 that I have seen, so we can both discuss it.
And they also release, and they released this originally, they started releasing it on the 7th of June 2010, and that is Toradora. Now, I'm going to start with the first release because I have it, which is the premium edition. As you can see, this is what these look like. I mean, you see how big this is.
It's cool.
And
I remember when he showed that to me, I was like, what the hell?
I mean, they're just amazing looking sets. I mean, this is like a... Was this Blu-ray? No, DVD.
DVD.
This originally started DVD release.
I don't think they started doing Blu-ray until about their 7th or 8th title.
Now, of course, this is out of print.
Yeah.
And pretty much, well, not all the premiums are out of print, but most of the premiums are out of print.
This one he's showing you now went out of print a long time ago.
What was the first one?
Yes. The second one he's going to show you I actually own. But when I finally managed to get it, you couldn't get Volume 1. I got a bundle of the standard edition of Volume 1 and this edition of Volume 2.
Yep, Volume 2. And we'll discuss the series after we show off these volumes to you. You can see like the information. Well, you maybe not, but it's kind of cool to see them. And of course, come on. Don't. Just keep dropping off. That's what I need. Sadly, this one's more for a collection standpoint. You can see the actual disc art. I love the disc art in some of these. You'll be able to see the disc art, at least all of mine, because all of mine are opened already. So let me see here. Of course, the book. And look at that.
Yep. These aren't like your silly flimsy books that they have in all the Aniplex limited editions.
Well, these are much better.
These are nice books.
Much better quality releases. And much cheaper. I think these were like, what, $40 a pop or something like that?
I want to say they started around 45 or so, and then they slowly went up as the series went on, but yeah.
So that's that. So you have one of the standard releases.
Right. Well, like I said, I have an old bundle. I plan to probably sell off my standard copy of Volume 1, but I've still got Volume 2 in the deluxe edition. I gotta keep it because it's so cool. But I do have the standard edition of the re-release. These have not been opened yet, but this gives you an idea of the cover art.
And there is a point to getting it because
there's actually 3 significant points, but he'll show off this one.
Yeah, this is the premium of the newer release. They did a consolidated, and one, it consolidates the entire set into one, and 2,
although it doesn't really save space.
It doesn't save a lot of it saves space over the other one,
but it does have 3 very distinct features that the original release lacked.
Yeah,
1, Blu-ray.
Yes.
They have Blu-ray and DVD. 2, there is an OVA episode. I believe it's called I can't remember what it's called. Oh, the Toradora SOS Hooray for Foodies. There's a couple of OVA episodes, actually.
Yeah,
and those are included. They were not included in the first release. And then the third one is his favorite, I'm sure. The English dub.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yes.
So, really and truly, I'll probably watch... If I watch it again, it'll probably be this collection because it's got more episodes on it. But I will be keeping this.
Yeah.
Now, what is Toradora?
Awesome.
Yeah, Toradora is essentially, and I'll have you lead off on the next one, even though you haven't seen it, but at least
That
you
makes
can.
no sense. But anyway, go ahead.
Toradora is about this guy who is a bit of a clean freak,
Ryuji Takasu, I think is his name.
and his issue is he's got his father's eyes, which make him look like a very nasty, evil person. And he ends up running afoul of the palm top tiger, or as she gets called, Taiga. And
Taiga Aisaka.
Which, you know,
Technically,
is-
Teinori Taiga.
her.
Yes.
And she is in love with this guy here,
Kitamura-kun.
which is actually Ryuji's best friend.
Yep.
And he's in love with her,
Minoru Kushieda.
which is actually her best friend.
Yes.
So they decide, after they fight each other, that maybe we can work together to help each other win at love. And as they go, they form a friendship that slowly works into something more along the way. It actually has one of my favorite Christmas songs.
Also, you
on
also
here.
have Ami Kawashima,
Yeah.
a model who gets mixed into the group. Yes, the Christmas song, what is it called again?
I think it's Holy Night or something.
Holy
like
Night is a very nice song.
Very nice song.
I think, doesn't Taiga actually perform it in the episode?
Yeah.
And then also the opening theme song, Pre-Parade, is one of my favorite
yes.
openers. I love it.
Actually, they
And
have
then-
some good songs.
They have, yeah, overall they're good. The first opener,
Matter of fact, these two
Pre-Parade.
performed that song. Not Pre-Parade, but the Christmas
yeah,
one.
all three of the girls. And it's worth noting that it is a kick-ass cast. Taiga is performed, of course, because she's a tsundere. She is Rie Kugamiya. Minori is Yui Horie, and Ami is Eri Kitamura. And Yui Horie is a phenomenal singer, and she does several of these theme songs. The second opener, Silky Heart, the first ender, Vanilla Salt, and then and Vanilla Salt is a nice song as well. And then all three of them do the second ender, Orange. So like you said, the music is pretty solid. I love this series. It's a very it's a romantic dramedy. It does have a lot of drama in it,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a romance. And it's very, very well done. The series pissed me off by almost ending too soon, and they managed in the final moments, sort of a Hail Mary pass, to save that final star it would have lost. But even as it is, the light novels and the game both go further than the anime, which
Of
is
course.
annoying. But whatever.
So let's slap some ratings on it. So I will go ahead and give it the masterpiece level, because I actually consider it one of their best releases. What would you put it as?
Well, if we're looking at these relative to their catalog as a whole, it's easily a masterpiece. But if we look at it in the world of anime overall, a minor masterpiece.
Okay, so there we go.
It's not at the top of my list, but it's high enough to deserve.
It's
yeah.
definitely one of the best romantic.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Probably Meizonokoku's the only one I'd rate higher in that genre, I think.
actually, one of the few tsundere characters I actually like.
Yeah, Taiga's awesome. She's, you know, and you didn't really mention, like, he is a neat freak. She is a slob.
Yeah, she
Like,
is.
they really are polar opposites and yet perfect for each other. It's really weird.
Well, I will tell you what, since
Okay.
I will, from here on out, anyone that you've seen, I'll let you introduce.
Okay.
So this next one is one that is even harder to get a hold of.
Oh, jeez. I
because
don't even own it.
there is a standard release, but it is almost as hard to get a hold of as the premium. Also released at the same time, 6, 7, 10, is Persona Trinity Soul. Now, that name might be very familiar to you because it is based on the video game. And Persona 5 is huge with these days. So this one is actually the easiest of the two to get a hold of. Volume 1 is the easiest, and actually the premium I see this the most up on eBay. I got it for a recently good price. Unfortunately, I did not get it when it came out, or else it would have been in much better condition. This one actually is in good condition. The second volume is the one that's in bad condition, but I am really glad I've got that one because God knows it would be hard. So as you can see right here. So I want to say, what is this one based off of? Yeah, this one is based off of the game series.
Okay.
So I will talk a little bit about it in just a minute. But
and while he's playing around with that, let me just go ahead. I meant to mention with Toradora, the OVA is a side episode. I was so disappointed to find out it was not a sequel, but it's a side episode. It's not that important, but it's a fun episode. Just so you know.
So this is the one that is the harder one to get. Unfortunately, you can see mine has damage, but for the price, I could not turn it down. This never comes up on eBay or anywhere. I had the standard for the longest time. You can see where the water damage is.
See,
here.
even my copy of Bakemonogatari is not that bad, so that's good.
Yeah, this is probably the worst condition one I have.
Yeah.
One of my Kimi ni Todokes is also kind of messed up, but not like this. This is probably the worst I've seen of it. But the discs are good shape, and the book is in good shape. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you gotta deal with it. If you want to keep it in collection, sometimes you gotta deal with it. Now, if I ever come across one that's in good condition, of course I'm gonna pick it.
Of course.
I might keep these discs and change it.
Yeah.
But because I know the discs are in good shape, and the book's in good shape. I mean,
and they are cool looking sets. Oh.
I mean, yeah, I like the I mean, art style is really cool. I mean, Persona in general has some good art style. Now, I want to say this is... It's been a while since I've seen it. I want to say it's an aftermath of the fourth game of the series, or related to that, or the third game. I can't remember which one. It kind of takes place after the fact. It's a Persona, for those who aren't educated on it, it's about these people who have these powers that they can summon personas, sort of like dark versions of themselves that can fight for them. Now, how they summon them and the reasoning, it's very different each time. This particular series was very wordy. Actually, I've seen a lot of them. I have not seen the Persona 4 anime. I've seen Golden.
Right.
And I didn't like Golden. The only one that I've seen that I've really liked was an Aniplex release that was for the Persona 3, those movies, and they were amazing. They were really good. I need to see the Persona 5 anime that they have. But again, it's Aniplex.
Yeah.
But this one was very draggy and kind of wordy and kind of like not all that great. Now, y'all might disagree with me on it. For me, this would probably be my first rating of poor.
Oh.
Not because I didn't really enjoy watching it in the slightest. Now, I'm not going to say it was awful.
Right.
I would be willing to give it a second shot.
Right.
I'm not neutral to it, though. I have a bad feeling about it. If I'm totally neutral, it's so-so. But if I just have a kind of... yeah, if I just feel like I don't want to watch it, yeah, poor.
Right.
If I have a bad visceral reaction, that's when I go to
Right.
that. So the next one, which you started, but you never finished it, but you have read a lot of the manga, right?
A fair bit.
Is a series called Pandora Hearts, which was released on October 26th of 2010. I have the only version that you can get, the standard.
Pretty much.
And I think you have the standard too, don't you?
Yep. That's why I didn't bring the other. Well,
So-
that and I haven't seen it.
Well, it's got some pretty cool disc art. This one's interesting in and of itself.
Yep, based on the manga by Jun Mochizuki. Like you said, I've tried reading it and tried and tried. I've probably picked it up 3 or 4 times and
Yeah, it's about this guy who ends up being taken to the shadow realm, and he gets hooked up to these dolls, so to speak, demon sort of things that can attach to you. You make a change, yes.
yes,
And,
Oz Vesalius is the young man and yep.
And it's, I believe, it's what, White Rabbit, Black Rabbit,
Black Rabbit, the blood-stained Black Rabbit. Alice
She's right
Chain.
here.
Yeah.
And you learn a little bit about what a chain is, how they're done, and the fact that people who make illegitimate contracts get dragged into the shadow realm forever. And he's more interested, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Black Butler in a way, because
Well-
he's kind of fighting to find out why he was targeted.
He's
and
nowhere
what's going
near
on.
as big. And
Oh, yeah.
He's nowhere near as snooty and self-absorbed as
Oh, yeah.
CL is, though. And Alice is fun.
She is.
I did watch the first episode last night, but fell asleep as episode 2 started. But just from that first episode, I can say that Alice is fun. The series has great music. The opening theme in Parallel Hearts is a great song.
Yep.
And I will say, one of the biggest issues I have with the manga is that the character designs are not very distinct overall. And there's 2 characters. One of them is Xerxes Break, and I do not remember which one the other one is. I swear to God, they look like twins. And if you read the manga as choppily as I've read it, you can't keep them straight. And it's a twisted story to begin with. So that's one reason I have had trouble getting into it. The anime, at least, you've got some color to work with,
Yeah.
too. I have a feeling it'll be easier to watch the anime, and then maybe I can tackle the manga afterwards.
This one, for me, I'm giving a so-so rating, and I've
Yeah.
got reasons for it. It has an interesting premise.
It does.
I really wanted to give it more, but 1, the story kind of drags a little bit. 2, it ends on a cliffhanger. So
Wouldn't surprise me.
So you kind of,
How many episodes?
it's only like, what, 24, 26?
Yeah, and it's like a 26-volume manga.
Yeah,
so
25.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one that you really need to get into the manga for, and I don't know. I mean, it's one that I need to return to, maybe read the manga, and try and get through that so I can get the rest of the story. It's just, I wanted to like it more than I did. I really did.
Now, I do like that Akira Ishida, the voice of Zelos, is Xerxes. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think I'm remembering this correctly, Junko Minagawa... No, I was wrong about that. Never mind. She is well known. She's in a lot of stuff, but the one that plays... that plays Oz. Some pretty fun cast there.
Yeah.
But that's one that, based on what I've seen of the manga, that one and the next one are 2 that I really, really, really wanted to see, but they came out so early. We didn't get obsessed with collecting NIS right away.
Yeah.
So both of these series I probably would have jumped on if they came out later. And because I didn't jump on them, I missed out on the premium for Pandora Hearts.
Yes.
And then by the time I had finally purchased it from Right Stuff, I'd already started reading the manga and cooled in my interest a little bit. But whatever.
So since you haven't seen the next one,
No, but I have it.
we have Our Home's Fox Deity, which you have in the premium,
Yep.
which is kind of cool. So
and I'll
when
bring it once I've seen
Yeah,
it.
once you see it, you'll get to see the premium and see what
Yeah.
that looks like. And because you're going to actually be able to introduce the next one, remember before we talk about it, we show it off.
Right.
So, that's the disc art. I love good disc art. you
Yeah.
know? And sometimes they don't put crap for disc art. But you can see these standard editions, they don't have a lot to them. I mean, look at this massive book. It comes with it. I mean, it has the episode
it's
listing.
colorful. And episode listing is more than you get from some companies.
It is true.
Yeah.
Now, this is the other one here. Now, right here. And, again, here.
Mm-hmm.
So, there we go, the inside of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a fun little story, essentially about this person who is becoming the next heir of the family, or next shrine maiden, I believe. And they end up having this fox deity that's kind of like locked away, sealed, but kind of voluntarily sealed away. It's kind of a complex thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this fox deity kind of helps in protecting this new shrine maiden as she works on eventually... Actually, not shrine maiden. The actual... He is technically... because it's shrine maidens up until this point, but it's a man that's in there to the heir. So technically he's the shrine maiden. The next one in line. So I was looking at this back picture, which is his mother, I believe, who passed. So it's an entertaining series, and of course, the fox doesn't really know any particular gender form, so you see the male version, female version, whenever it suits him or her at the time. And you can actually see both versions of the fox deity on the cover. It's a very entertaining series. It's also got, like, you know, your commercials and some of these nice little... It's got some nice little extras on there. It's
properly called Wagaya no Oinarai-sama.
So, 24 episodes, and it's a fun series.
And I want to see this.
Well, and I think you'll like it. It's kind of that... It's that dramedy type feel to it.
Another reason I had not prioritized... I've had Our Home's Fox deity for a while now. Another reason I had not prioritized those is that they're on DVD. And if you watch this channel, you know that I have been very, very particular in following certain rules of my DVD collection in the hopes that it would help me get through my collection. It has not worked. So I'm ignoring those rules for NIS as of last night. So, but yes, they did not start doing Blu-ray until, I think, when we get to where I think they started, we'll go ahead and mention it. And a lot of them have since been re-released on Blu-ray. Like, hasn't Our Home's Fox deity gotten a Blu-ray release since then?
I think
it has.
Let's see here.
I don't know. Maybe not.
See it on here.
Maybe not. I know Pandora Hearts never got a Blu-ray release, and I don't. And Persona. I want to say Persona was the one of a couple that they actually dropped the license outright. That had nothing to do with Aniplex.
Yeah, that one was.
There were not many, but they've had a couple.
They dropped that a while back.
Yeah. So the next one.
Before we get to that rating.
Oh, rating. Well, yes. I can't rate this one.
Me.
You can.
So, I give this a good rating.
Okay.
Because I liked it. It was enjoyable.
Our Home's Flakes. Our Home's Flakes.
I actually really enjoyed it overall. Because I can't bring it to masterpiece level.
Right.
And because of that, I just have to give it a good rating. Now, I will... be careful with these.
Oh, I will. Okay, so our next one has the unusual distinction of being an anime that originally had a English title, and yet they still retitled it for American release for whatever reason. But
this English title.
Yes. And this is a series that actually we were introduced to by streaming and fell in love with before it ever got a release. And when I saw that NIS was putting it out, this was my first NIS pre-order. And I think I had Toradora at that point.
Yeah, but we'd known about NIS at the time. Yes. I know that. Yeah.
But I am, of course, speaking of this series, Wag Nuria, which originally was called Working. And this is the complete premium edition of set 1. You have Sota Takanashi and Popura Taneshima. Popura is a joke name, pretty much, because it's a Japanicized version of Poplar, which she is not as tall as a poplar. And then you have, I think her name was Mahiro Inabe. So basically, this dude is, at first, you think a fairly normal dude, at first, who is taking a job in a restaurant. This is his senpai, but she's so much shorter. We'll get into that in a minute. And then this is the girl that is afraid of men. And then, so you've got this. Let's open it up and have a nice look here. Here's the book. Again, awesome books. I mean, these are just... Oh, Wag Nuria Special Sampler. They usually have some sort of weird, cutesy title for their books. But I think Sentai does the same thing. Lots of pictures there, and again, an episode listing. Most of these do have the episode listings and cast and that sort of thing. You got the various... There's Mahiro again, and then there's Kyoko is their manager. Lazy bum. And then, you got food. Yeah. You actually have food on the... and then there's the back. And then you got the main cook, the chef, and the main waitress who carries a sword inexplicably, even though she's working in a restaurant. And, nice dessert there. And, okay, that, of course, is Season 1. That was their initial release, and if I remember correctly, didn't it take like 2 or 3... Wasn't it like 2 years later that the second series actually aired originally? It was a minute before they did.
It's been a while, yeah.
And then they did 2, like Nuria 2, which unfortunately I do not yet have this, but I have seen it.
I've also seen that through streaming.
I did see it through streaming, yes. And there's a nice... And Aoi Yuki is the weird, strange girl who lives in the attic of the restaurant.
The lost wife on the back.
And yes, the lost wife and the actual manager who's always looking for the wife.
She's almost at Ryoga levels there.
Yes. And then again, some nice fun stuff inside there. And you got, some cute cover art there. Ooh, asparagus. Man, I'm glad I ate already. I'd be getting hungry. And then, this again. And now they've chopped up the asparagus.
Looks like edamame there?
Was it?
No, that's asparagus. Okay,
yes,
yeah.
and broccoli. And I see that, unfortunately, NIS, that is what they have done with this series, but the series continues.
Yeah, and you've seen Season 3, didn't you?
No, I started Season 3.
But this is sad.
Now I have it, so I can.
Because Season 3, of course, was... It's an Aniplex title.
Yes.
I'm waiting for them to re-release 1 and 2.
Yes.
But this is the Season 3 release, which is not NIS, but I figure why not just finish this off.
Right.
Which you can see here.
Got some art cards.
Now, I wouldn't say buy an Aniplex series, but if you actually did get the first 2 series, it's worth it to at least get Season 3 because they complete a lot of the storylines. They tie up all of the loose ends practically, and I was actually surprised at how well they tie up the loose ends. So I was shocked, actually.
And then you got your part 2 there.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
We got part 2. And, same ooh, chocolate on this one.
oh yeah.
And then you got the
Oh, dropped my Aniplex cards.
oh man, that is the absolute worst thing I could possibly do. But
Wow.
yeah, sorry
you could
about
drop
that.
the disc.
I don't want to do that. And then of course we have our lovely spin-off series, www.Wag Nuria.
Which has nothing. Which only has a vague kind of relation to
Right.
the.
But still, it's
Original.
probably fun, and I
It's
look
a
forward
fun
to seeing
series.
it.
Yeah, we
So-
won't go into depth with those.
But with the, as far as the main title, again, Sota Takanashi seems normal until you find out he is obsessed with cute things, and he's obsessed with Popura because she's half his size, even though does not really truly look like a lolicon character. She is what she makes up for lacks in height. And then Mahiru has a crush on him, even though she's afraid of men. But she has a violent punching reflex. Because Sota is Sota, they decide he can be her punching bag. And so you also have a weird thing where the chef is in love with the head waitress. The head waitress is practically in love with the manager and would do anything for her. You've got the other chef who's just a smartass who likes to comment on everything. And Aoi, like I said, lives in the attic, and the manager is always gone looking for his wife. So you have a bunch of kooky, crazy characters, and yet somehow anyone who's ever worked in a restaurant will see so much truth in this series. And it's just a fun series. And the opening theme song to season 1, Someone Else, is like this ska-tinged song that I absolutely love. And if I remember correctly, I think both, if not all 3 seasons, the girls do the opener and the guys do the ender. Is that right?
Yeah, and all 4 series have very energetic openers.
Oh, yeah.
And they're very fun. I like the openers far better than the enders
Yeah.
in this particular series. Set.
Right. So, yeah, definitely, again, if you ever worked anywhere, you will appreciate working.
So,
especially in a restaurant.
before we go to ratings, do you have
Yep.
anything else to say on this one?
I think I covered it mostly.
Okay.
Yep.
So, go ahead and give us your rating.
See, this one's kind of tricky because, well, for one, I haven't finished it, so I can't really give it, but I can rate the
only
NIS
the NIS.
section.
Yeah, the NIS.
I can't
we're only
rate
relating-
the NIS section
Yeah.
because they don't actually complete the story in the NIS section. And because it's more of a personal favorite than I'm blown away by the art, I think I'm going to have to go with good, but it's very good.
Yeah, me too on that one.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So Wag Nuria, we're just going to say Wag Nuria as a
Okay.
series.
Yeah.
And
All right.
Wag Nuria. So we're pretty well on. Well, for those that we both seen, we're pretty well on the same. We both
Yeah.
agree on that because I feel it's good as well.
Yep.
It's definitely one I really like, but I do feel like I like it more than I probably should. So, moving on.
All right.
This one took a little bit of damage, but
Yeah.
minor.
Oh, yeah. So I guess you're having me do this one. I can.
Well, you've seen it, though.
Oh, yeah. And this is a fun one. This is called Arakawa Under the Bridge.
Weird one.
It is a weird one. And we will show you. You'll probably look at some of the images and think it's kind of weird.
Before we go on,
What's up?
Just because we did not do these, the release dates of Our Home's Fox Deity, the original part 1 was released on 11/16/10, and Wag Nuria 3/29/11,
Yeah.
and Arakawa Under the Bridge 7/5/11. 7/11.
So with so Arakawa was the first one that got us Blu-ray release, right?
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, everything
Yeah.
else has been DVD.
'Cause
Oh, wait, no. But the Torador was re-released as Blu-ray.
So Wag Nuria Part 2 got a combo release. But Part 1, I think they did a standard Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But not immediately. Immediately they did the... so Arakawa was the start of the Blu-ray DVD combo packs.
Of them regularly releasing on Blu-ray.
And so here we go. You can start to see some of the weirdness that, and then here as well. And, as before, we'll show you a couple of the pictures there. Let's see. These are kind of plain cover art for the actual discs. Well, I mean the disc, you know what I mean. But the discs themselves, this girl is featured pretty heavily. And then the dude on that one, I guess. Yep. Okay, and then we'll do the second part. They apparently, at the beginning, they did a lot more long series, apparently. Not long, but you know what I mean. Like,
I don't know, they did a lot longer series towards the end. Freaking card cap.
Well, that was a special case, I think. And then, okay, so then we have part 2. And there's some even weirder pictures there in some cases. And we got here.
I'm glad they did get that done, though.
Yeah. And then we got a nice little... there. And more multi-character ones here. It has been a minute since I've seen this one, so I don't remember all of the characters. But there definitely was I mean, you've got a Kappa there, which is kind of fun.
Oh, the Kappa,
Although,
yeah.
is it really a Kappa?
Guy in a Kappa suit.
Yeah, basically. And you got the dude in the bird suit who's in love with the lady in the bee suit. And you got the dude with the star head who's like a rock star or something. And then the big hulking dude who dresses in a nun's habit. And all this kind of interesting, weird stuff. But basically, the gist of it is the Arakawa River flows under this bridge. And you have this dude who, if I remember correctly, is basic salaryman kind of character who decides, I'm going to live under this bridge. And he meets this very attractive and interesting girl who seems to always dress in a school gym suit, if I remember correctly. And doesn't she claim to be from Venus?
Yeah.
And then, so you have all these weird, kooky people who have an entire community under this bridge. And it's just a weird show, but it's fun. It's really fun. It's got some fun music, good art, It's,
community of street people. Strange.
Pretty much, yeah.
Lack of sanity street people. The Kappa's the leader.
Yeah.
I remember that much. And her,
Yes.
I want to say that she's like Strawberry or something like that.
Yeah.
And she's like the gardener.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Of course, there's like a whole bunch of strange characters as you go throughout this. There's no limit to that.
Right.
But yeah, I like a lot of the openings and enders in that series. So, anything else for that?
That's probably all I have to say for that one, yeah.
So, your rating?
I'd give it a good.
Yeah, I can't really give it masterpiece. Arakawa under the bridge. And then me. Arakawa under the bridge. Alright. So
Alright.
no awfuls so far.
Nice.
Alright, next up. It's me, because he hasn't watched the series, and for good reason.
It is hard to get.
It's available. It is available, but
Yeah,
it
if you
is
want to pay an arm
extremely
away.
expensive. The only listing I've seen for it online now is $1,500. Now you get both.
That's not available at all.
I did not buy it for that. I bought it for a lot, but not that much. And this is Katana Guitar II, which is, by the way, by the same artist, and by the same author of Monogatari. So you might think about that as a weird thing. And the art style is very strange in this one. There's actually two of them that have very unique art styles, I think. Yeah, right. I think to myself, my goodness, this is a very expensive series.
Yeah.
But if you're a Monogatari fan, you're going to want to get this.
Right.
Because you won't feel like your collection is complete without it. Even though it really doesn't have anything to do with that story.
Right, I was going to say, does it even have any of the same characters or anything?
No. Just shares the author.
Is it also an Aniplex title?
Let's see. Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
it may eventually
That's-
release for Aniplex for the same amount.
Yeah, that's probably part of the reason. This, I know, is also another one where they lost the license pretty early on that one, I think.
It'll actually be interesting if they end up like Aniplex decides to list it. We'll do the entire box set. Well, the out of print ones are selling for $1,500, so we'll sell ours for $1,000. I would not put it past them.
Now, I'll admit, this is a pretty gorgeous book. I mean, that is really cool. Yeah.
So it's got some. I actually really dig the art style of this one. The other one, not so much. But this one, I really do dig the art style. Now, this one is kind of an interesting tale about these two and their quest to get all of these swords that were made by this sword master. His style is a swordless style. It's sort of like the swordsman's style of no swords.
Huh.
And he lives on this island on his own with his sister, which I will put, I think there she is right there. And she comes and takes him on this quest. His master kind of ended up screwing over her past relatives. So there's a lot of this cycle of revenge, betrayal, very complex political stuff going on, and a lot of just good old-fashioned action. It's a fairly good series. The art style is beautiful. It has a sort of painted style to it. I really did enjoy watching it. And it does have a fairly decent opener and ender. But to me, by the way, also released on 7/5/11. I can't really give it masterpiece level because the story was so-so. But still, I can't give it below a good either because it was a good series. Now, if I was to go, I would probably rank it lower for the fact that it's so freaking expensive. But
that has nothing to do with the series.
has nothing
itself.
to do with the series. So I can't really, Now, one of my highest rated ones is next. So I don't know why I keep throwing these in different order here.
I don't know what you were thinking either.
But I will, since you brought yours, you can show off yours and I will show off mine.
Okay.
So go ahead.
All right. So our next one up is a series known as Kimi ni Todoroke, From Me to You. And I have the Blu-ray DVD standard edition version. So there's part 1 with the nice little plaid discs. Oops, except
That
for the
fall
one
out.
yes, that fall out. And then
The cool thing is that they utilize a lot of these cases the same discs as for the premiums as they do the standards.
Yeah, I had a bad problem with this one with the disc falling out though. Okay.
Did I give you that? No.
No, I got this off of Right Stuff.
Yeah.
And if I recall
That's still in
correctly,
print.
it's either still in print or they still have copies available.
Yeah,
It
they're
might
still selling it on their
Okay.
site and on because I checked it yesterday.
Okay.
So yeah, and also on Right Stuff they are selling it.
All right.
But I have the premium editions. I had the standard, but then I came upon these for 30 a piece.
Nice.
So this was cheaper
You lucked out.
than the other, and these only 2 of these only have minor dings, which is not bad. So you know, but as you can see, these like to come up too. So you can see it's the same art. So I'll just show you these discs. Here. There we go. Art book. Cool art book. I mean, again, it's kind of worth it to have the art books with you. So it's not really until volume 3 that there was any damage. They just kind of like minor dings, but nothing huge. Sort of like with the Arakawa,
right?
Yeah, it's sort of like the Arakawa under the bridge, like a minor ding, but nothing that would be like
I keep waiting for the day I find Kizumana guitar or Katana Guitar. I mean,
that'd be nice.
At Second Charles.
Because they had a whole bunch of these there for a while, but a lot of them were roughed up bad.
Oh.
These were the best condition out of them.
Right.
And I wasn't gonna buy it. Like they did have a copy of House of the Five Leaves, but it was like split open.
Oh,
And I
no
was like,
good there.
"Nah, I ain't gonna buy that."
That's one I'm still missing.
I mean, I'd rather have the standard if I'm going to do that. Did I?
Yeah.
I didn't show that, did I? Okay, there. This is a series that I'm kind of conflicted about, but for good reason.
This one is?
Yeah,
You're conflicted?
I'm conflicted on it. And I will go into that in a minute after you've done your rundown. But I've got one more to show, which is the 3rd volume. As you can see, the 3rd volume has a little bit of water down. I don't know if you can see it, but just a slight bit. And I think you have a box that's about that even, because there's only a small amount.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
Well, I made this stupid mistake of using a wet wipe on one of my boxes, and
well, now we know what causes that. It's minor water
Probably.
damage.
yeah.
But, it's not terrible. It's, as far as I'm concerned, $30 is still a steal
Yeah.
for that, even in that condition.
Yeah.
Because that's,
Still pretty good.
I didn't pay all that much for that Persona. I paid $27 for that Persona Volume 2.
Nice.
So, for something that rare, it doesn't bother me that it's got some wear and tear on it. It's still okay looking, and so long as I don't play around with it a lot, which I'm not going to be watching that anytime
I'm just
soon.
really paranoid about water damage, but I have a couple collector sets I can't get rid of. It's like the Bakemono Guitar and the Anohana, and also I have that Paul Newman collection that has the same deal, unfortunately. But so with this series, basically you've got these 2 are your main characters.
Yeah.
You got Sawako Koronuma, who Sadako, yes, she has an unfortunate resemblance to the young lady from The Ring, and the fact that she's extremely shy and lacks most social skills also doesn't really help her in the whole, oh man, she's just creepy and scary. And then you've got this guy, Shota Kazahaya, who is like this super popular, refreshing kind of character that everyone loves, and he is nice to her, and she falls for him as a result. And you end up, she, despite her shyness, ends up becoming very good friends with these 2 crazies. You got Chizuru, I think was the taller one, Chizuru Yoshida, who's this like Yankee character who's best buds with Ren, who's also Kazahaya's good bud. And then you got Ayane Yano, who's the gal character. And this is apparently a school that doesn't care much for gal types. But Ayane is awesome. She is one of my favorite characters, and they're all fun characters. Sawako is voiced by Mamiko Noto, and in typical Noto fashion, she's very quiet and whispery and very, it's not much. And you have these really cool Chiba form portrayals of her that are very amusing. Like a lot, I love the art in general in this one. It's a very shoujo art style, but it does use liberal use of those Chiba form images, but it uses them well, in a way a lot of series don't.
See, this series could have been in my top 10. I really, really like the series, and I'm very fascinated with these series that have these people who kind of, in a way, are broken people. There's something in their life, or there's been some tragedy, or something has come in and basically screwed everything up. And they work towards, healing, which is great. The problem I have with it is they decide to take like 5 steps back, which to me I felt like they did that to lengthen. It's like, oh crap, they're too close. We need to shoo them away. For what seemed almost no reason, I felt like they resetted to square one. It's like all the progress made in season 1 just went away.
See, I didn't really feel that. I felt that there was a little more halting than it should have been, and there was a backward step, but I don't think it was quite that extreme.
No, it tied it up at the end.
And it is worth noting, in case you're wondering, this is a 3-volume set, as you saw. The first 2 are season 1, and the third is season 2. This was one of those lopsided shows, and NIS elected to release it as one show, and it's numbered as if it's one series. It's not numbered according to season, so just be aware of that. But fun show though, and I do agree it could have probably been. I feel like it gets frustrating when shows are dragged out that long too, but I also feel like that's just typical for a shoujo kind of series.
See, typical for a shoujo is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 step forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the second season, at the Christmas episode, they were extremely close. And then it felt like hardly anything had changed from early on by the next season. As if that last episode didn't happen. It was like 50 steps back. Not the full 100 back to the beginning, but almost halfway. Like that halfway through the second season didn't matter.
No,
and the fact that it got she got very frustrating to me at times.
At times.
And because of that, I can't give it a masterpiece.
Right.
If I was just going for the first season, I probably would have given it that because it really was there. But I can only give it a good. That's just me.
Right. This one for me is right on the border. It's really, really hard to say which side it should fall on. But in the end, it's probably, I would probably rate it just above Wag Nuria. But that's probably still not quite enough to push it up into masterpiece. So I'll go with good as well. But if we were doing a 10-bar ranking, it would be easier to split. Kamina Todoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's harder for me to type when I'm at this angle here.
Right.
There we go. Now, next up.
Yeah.
Arakawa Under the Bridge, Season 2.
Bridge by Bridge.
Released 2/7/12.
Yeah.
Alright, next one. One that neither one of us owns actually, you don't own it at all, do you?
I don't own it at all.
Which
neither of these
is House of the Five Leaves. Again, a unique art style.
Very much so.
And you can see it there. More there. And of course our booklet. This one, the art style was a detriment to me because I looked at this and I said, I'll get it later.
Yeah.
And essentially, it's about this person who is a really skilled swordsman, but his personality doesn't lend him to get very good jobs because he's very kind of polite and too nice, and this kind of screws him over. But he ends up encountering this guy who is this guy here. This is the swordsman. And this guy is the head of this organization, and they kidnap rich kids and then ransom off the rich kids to make extra money. And they feel that they're doing, in a way, a justice because of a lot of the past issues. Now, she kind of helps run this racket on the female side of things, and they meet at this like kind of tea house as their main base of operations, owned by this guy and his daughter. And it's a kind of entertaining series. Its story is much more intriguing than I was led to believe by just on looking. So it did draw me in as it went by. But with this as it is, it's sort of like how you were on the kind of the tipping between good and masterpiece for Kimi ni Todoke. For me, this is on the edge of good and so-so. It will fall on the good side because it is well done, well written. I just have a hard time getting myself into it.
And I will admit, the art style was one of the reasons I was in less than ecstatic about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I will have to see it one of these days.
So next up is another one I know you want to see.
I really want to see this one, but this one is way out of print and very
well, I can only get a hold of this, which is Occult Academy.
Yeah.
And this is the standard edition. So this one, again, I can see these here. Boop, episode guide, and this here. Now I did get this new, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
So essentially, it is what it says it is. It's an occult academy. Unfortunately, the principal of the academy summons a demon and ends up getting himself offed. So they end up calling the principal's daughter, who is this character, in. And she hates the occult. So her intention is to run the school into the ground. Well, this dude here comes from the future. It says that the world is going to be fucked. By the way, not for kids. So, and because of that, they need to figure out how to make the change in order to keep that from happening. Apparently some weird War of the Worlds thing happens. I mean, you can see, like, this is like picture of the alien ship. And so she eventually decides to, okay, I'm going to help you take this bad guy down. This series has a lot going for it. It was very entertaining overall. But there are just some things. Like him, he annoyed the heck out of me in his cowardice and his just... It's like every time you want him to redeem himself, he says, no, I'm not going to redeem myself. I'm going to be the same sniveling coward that I'm set up to be. I guess they're good for consistency. She's a hard character to like, too. Very abrasive characters. So you got a coward and an abrasive character as your main characters.
Nice.
Yeah. But eventually it does grow on you, and the story itself is very entertaining. So overall, I would say this one would be a good series.
Okay.
But not a great series.
Yeah. They definitely have a theme going here.
Well, I think this is where I was actually thinking it was going to go.
Okay. This one I definitely got.
5/8/12 was its release date.
Yes, and this one was 6/12/12. This one, next one is notable. I think I pre-ordered this one because this one is notable as one of the few series in my relatively early days of anime viewing, still learning very much. This was one of the first ones I found on my own. I think I torrented it, and I loved it. And when I saw that NIS was releasing it, I was like, hell yeah.
Hail to the yeah.
And that is a series called Otome Yokai Zakuro, or simply Zakuro. And this is the for the cover. There's the second part there.
That's a nice looking
It
edition.
is a very nice looking edition. It's a nice looking series, which helps the edition look nice.
One thing I thought was funny. Now, I ended up getting Wag Nuria and Zakuro late, but those two I had found on eBay quick enough that I found both new for $30 a piece.
So you got lucky there. But this one, of course, also has, you know, some summaries and stuff there, and some.
Fear
Oh no, these are like cast interviews.
Yeah.
There's some nice pictures there, and then we've got. Okay, so your main character, as you might guess, is called Zakuro, and we've got a picture. Also on the, it looks like the same disc art on the, or the cover art on the discs, which they kind of skimped a little bit there, but. So basically this is a historical drama / supernatural fantasy
Supernatural.
that takes place during the Meiji era, and it is essentially, you have these yokai, or half yokai rather, these girls who have spirit parentage, who team with the military in order to fight rogue yokai, basically. And Zakuro is paired with this dude, and then you got this one who's like the kind, sweet sort of character with the quiet type. And then the twins are with the little one that looks like a kid. And they're all make for fun pairings. It's kind of, like I said, it is a series that has some supernatural elements. It does have a little bit of that military intrigue, which can get kind of fun. The main, it is notable that Zakuro is voiced by Mai Nakahara, who is one of my favorite seiyuu.
That's what I thought.
And Yui Horie, I think is, I want to say Hozuki is the quiet one. But basically,
Quiet one.
actually no. Okay, so we have the opening theme song is a song called Moon Signal. It's a great opener. And then each ender is one of the pairs or pairings or groups. So Hatsukoi wa Zokoro Iro is by Mai Nakahara and Takahiro Sakurai, who are, you know, Zakuro and her pair. Futari Shizuka is by Kana Hanazawa, she's the quiet one, and Satoshi Hino. And Junjo Masquerade is by Aki Toyosaki, Yui Horie, and Yuki Kaji. And Junjo Masquerade is my favorite. I love that. It's such a good song. But all of them are fun. The music overall is an excellent... it was one of the things that turned me on to the series in the first place. It is not the most brilliant series I've ever seen, and I have not seen it in a while. I don't even think I've watched my copy. I think I only watched it on streaming, so I need to watch my copy. But it is a fun series, and like I said, I was very happy when they released it. There were a couple that I was able to anticipate. It's always nice being able to do that.
It is a fun series. It was enjoyable for me. I was like, is that the one where she uses the tree branch to...
Yes.
And it's been a while for me. But still, a good series and a solid series. So what would you give it as a rating?
I give it a good. It's a pretty solid good for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Boy, we've been pretty consistent so far.
Yep. Well, we'll see some changes here in a moment.
Actually, yeah, there will be a divergence here because I know what you're
Yes.
going to rank this, and I know what I'm going to rank it.
Okay.
So I'm going to rank it as awful. Not just kidding. Well, you show us. I will show off these alternate ones for
Okay.
this.
All right. So the next one we have is one that we were aware of ahead of time because it was rated as one of the best anime of all time according to Anime News Network. So when NIS announced the release, this was one I did pre-order. So, but we have his copy here, and this is the premium edition of Anohana, the
I got
flower we
really-
saw that day.
I got really lucky for that.
Yeah.
I found a copy of it for $20 online.
Yeah, you got lucky.
I mean, this was like way later. I didn't think I was going to get it. I said, I'm going to do this.
And this is my one that unfortunately has very minor water damage now. I'm very upset. It's got this nice, the Super Peace Buster Chronicle, because these kids, when they were this age, called themselves the Super Peace Busters. And you've got this, some actual line drawings in that one. Some early art. Jintan's t-shirt collection is apparently in here. That's an interesting feature. And then you got, so you got these two, older and younger. And some... This is, I believe, a DVD Blu-ray combo edition, which is why there's more discs than some of the other ones we've looked at. Yep.
And
then-
Anohana was released. Of course, Aniplex took back the rights.
Yes.
And released the series again. Well, I thought I was never going to get a copy. I went ahead and I got it through here. I said, well, at least I'll have all the titles.
Right.
But, I actually was lucky enough. Now I have though I don't have the full catalog because that would mean I had to have the premiums and all the releases. I at least have a release, an NIS release for each of the series they
Right.
did, which is kind of cool. And this is the movie,
And I do have that edition.
which you've seen even, too. So,
I have not seen the movie
thought you
yet.
saw it.
Nope, not yet.
so,
Okay.
so we both have basically the same. I am curious about this. Did they... Nope, they never actually... Actually, no, they do
Right.
have English language for this,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. So that's one advantage that Aniplex had
Right.
on that for the
And they actually type out the full title on the back of this edition. The original title is Ano Himita Hana no Namai o Bokutachi wa Mada Shiranai, which translates, we still don't know the name of the flower we saw that day. Which, kind of a nice title there, but...
it is interesting that the movie does not have an English track,
yeah,
yet they did an English track for the
it
series.
is kind of weird.
That is weird.
And supposedly the movie comes with the soundtrack, which is kick-ass, because the opening theme, Aoi Shiori, or Blue Bookmark, that's a really great theme song. And the ending theme, Secret Base, the 10 Years After version, is a great theme as well. And there's a couple of insert songs as well. But, so basically with Anohana, you got these 6 friends who used to call themselves the Super Peace Busters. You have Meiko Honma, who's known as Menma, Naruko Anjo, who's known as Anaru, Jinta Yadomi, who goes by Jintan, Chiriko Surumi, who goes by Tsuruko, Atsumu Matsuyuki, who goes by Yukiatsu, and Tetsudo Hitsakawa, who goes by Popo. And they are like thick as thieves until Menma dies.
Yep,
And then
puts a damper on things.
does a little bit. And then 10 years later, without preamble or explanation, out of nowhere, Jintan can suddenly see a Menma who looks not necessarily 10 years older, but she looks older. But he's the only one that can see her. He doesn't know if she's an actual ghost or just his guilty conscience or whatever.
Yeah.
She, of course, isn't much help. Because she's not really sure why she came back. but it's clear she wants something, and she starts this process of the group getting back together. Jintan basically is pushed into renewing his acquaintance with each one of these. Tsurumi and Matsuyuki are still classmates, but the others have kind of gone their own way. And it is a gorgeous series. It is very, 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 very much a tearjerker type series. The final episode's like a sledgehammer to the gut sort of thing. Subtlety is not exactly the show's strong point, but that's not really a bad thing. It's written by Marie Okada, whose name you'll hear again when we talk about Hanasako Iroha, and she wrote and directed the wonderful Makia, When the Promised Flower Blooms. Mm-hmm. She definitely is skilled with that sort of thing, and it's a really interesting series. It's really intriguing. It's short, only 11 episodes, so but which is probably one reason Aniplex is so happy to get it back out there.
Lots of money.
But and it is notable that their re-release is so far the only third-party re-release of any of NIS's titles.
For a while, this is actually about on par with the Aniplex release price.
Right.
I don't know if it is now, but when I was looking at it, for the most part, with the exception of the good deal I got
that much cheaper.
This was actually a little bit cheaper than even going at the higher end. It was going for a little bit less than the Aniplex.
I think my pre-order price was about $45 or so, which is about what they were averaging at that time.
Yeah. And Aniplex is like $100 almost for it, so it's just.
And if you ever wonder why we're so harsh on Aniplex, look at these sets we're showing you. You can get that set. The retail on this set was like $70. And like I said, I pre-ordered it for like $45. Their set looks nicer than most of their sets. I will give it that. Yeah. It looks a lot nicer. They probably knew they had to up their game.
So I know you, and you're going to want to put this as a masterpiece.
It is. It is one of my favorite anime.
And you're going to know, and you know me, and I am going to be putting it as good.
Ah.
I feel like it's overrated. It's a good series, but I think it's overrated.
Anahona, huh?
Yeah, Anahona.
They're both Anahona.
That's the Hawaiian version.
Well, Popo does always wear Hawaiian shirts.
But to me, I felt like it really played it too much, and it just was too over the top. I wanted to ask you real quick. Did you actually end up? I think you got this.
It yet. I do have it.
Okay, so.
But it was hardly a priority.
Well, I can't understand why it wouldn't be. We're not talking about the next one. We're talking about the last one in this set.
Do you want to lead off with the fancy or the not so fancy?
Well, first off, Anohana released on 3/7/12.
Yes.
Now I will show off the discs for this when you introduce, because I know you don't have both discs for it, I believe.
Right.
Well, you have the entire series, but you don't have all of the discs, which I do have for this. So I have the one that you're missing. So they kind of stack.
And we are, of course, talking about Usagi Drop. But not that Usagi Drop.
I'm actually... this is one I'm very conflicted over, and you know why I'm conflicted over this one. So,
yes, but the anime is separate from the manga.
We'll talk about that in the plot. And when we get to our ratings at the end. This is kind of cool. You got this. The only thing I have is a problem. I hate when they stack them.
Right.
And they stack these two on top of each other. Which I'm not going to be trying to pull these off because, as you can see, it wants to bend.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Nope, I got it. Okay, good. Okay, no, it's not stacked. Oh, thank God. It looked like it's stacked, but...
Alright, so in the meanwhile, this was one unfortunately I meant to pre-order.
Unusual. Look at that. That's weird.
I think I pre-ordered this one and it was canceled because of bad timing and lack of money. But I was given it as a gift, and unfortunately this edition is less than perfect. There's a slight crease on the front and it's missing the DVD disc. But still, this is what the premium box looks like.
In this day and age, as we've said, you gotta go with what you can.
Right. And we've got this nice, the art style there.
But yeah, that's the reason why I showed you what I've got, because the art's the same on it.
Oh, wait, no, it's missing the first DVD disc. That's what it was. I actually have the second DVD disc. And then it's all on one Blu-ray disc because, it's... Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's on two.
Yeah, because
wait a minute.
Because it's identical.
No, wait, was I missing the Blu-ray then? Because this is...
Because it's identical to these releases. So the one that you're missing is...
Well, you only have 3 discs, don't you?
No, I got 4 discs. You're missing the green one. So you're missing the other Blu-ray disc.
Really?
Yeah, you're missing the second Blu-ray disc.
Damn it. That's stupid.
This green one is the one he's missing.
Oh, okay.
I like how they did this, though. This is kind of cool. I've never seen them do something like that before.
So I might need to get the Blu-ray. Dang it.
This is why I say, if you could find... This is in print.
Yeah.
So you could theoretically get this and replace your disc.
And then this book is called Rin's First Year, like it's a memory album or some such thing.
While the innocence was still there.
Ah, yes.
Before innocence was lost
and
completely.
then this one's, some character designs and stuff. Okay, so basically with Bunny Drop was another one that we had a preview taste, if you will, because I think this came out one of the seasons we decided to do some previews, and we had seen the first episode. And I remember, and the ANN and a lot of other commentators raved about the show. And I was kind of underwhelmed by the first episode, but I wasn't interested. I was kind of intrigued. One thing I was underwhelmed by was the art style. That was something that took some getting used to for me, because it's a very kind of simple, kind of watercolory style. But once you get into it, you appreciate it a little more, and it's a nice visual look for the series. And similarly, the opening credits sequence, which is set to a song called Sweet Drops by Puffy Amiyumi.
Yeah.
And it looks like a child's drawing, kind of, as they're going around the planet and whatever. And it's really cool.
It is.
But, and I know you're a big Puffy fan in the first place. Yeah.
Teen Titans, go!
Exactly. Slightly different show, But actually, if you look strictly at the anime and forget that anything else exists with this particular property, this actually is a kid-appropriate show. It's a very appropriate, family-friendly, it's a wonderful show. And we'll come back a little bit and while we keep making that little... but basically, the gist of it is the main dude, Daikichi Kawachi, is a 30-something workaholic who has had no time for a life, no time for a wife. He basically just works, and there's not much... He doesn't really care, because he's never really had a reason to care. And his grandfather passes away, so he goes home to the family, to say to pay his respects. And this little girl starts dogging his every footstep, and he's talking with his mother and gets the bombshell news of, oh, she's your grandfather's illegitimate daughter, which kind of shocked the entire family. Obviously, they're all in shell shock. They don't know what to do. So eventually they start having this discussion about, well, what do we do with the girl? And they're so cold, and they don't really... And Daikichi's just sitting there, just getting more and more pissed off. And he's like, you're talking about a person. What, And then finally, he just impulsively says, the hell with it. I will take her home and raise her. So then you get this series about this guy trying to learn what it is to be a parent. And he makes a friend with a fellow parent whose boy Koki wants to be Rin's friend. and the two, it's a nice little. He learns a lot about some of his coworkers. He bonds with them over this, and he learns a lot about school. And Puffy Amiyumi have a cameo as I think the school graders or some such. They work in the office or something. And it's a fun. It's a fun, delightful, warm-hearted slice of life series.
It is
about parenthood.
There's actually a series that I first watched when I first started trying to do some downloading. This is back in the time when anime was not as easy to get. There was a series similar to this called Aishiteruse Baby, which was very similar, except it was a high school age guy who ends up taking care of this kid that nobody wants. Very similar plot line. Doesn't end the same way in the manga as this one, but this series to me, Bunny Drop was an amazingly good series, and I put out the manga, put that out of my head when I did this, and to me it was firing on all cylinders. It was good on every level, and so I will not spoil that for you, other than saying don't read the manga. If you really want, you really want the spoiler, we'll play it. We'll tell you at the very end of this video before we go. That way, we'll just mark it, and then you'll be done. You just say, "I'm ending the video right here."
Yeah.
And that way you won't have it ruined for you. But trust me when I say this. Don't read the manga, or at least stop as you get closer to the end of it. At least when you get to the high school years, stop it.
Well, it's one that has a significant time jump, and if I remember correctly,
so you can actually stop at the time jump.
I think the anime covers the first 7 or so volumes of the manga, and it's actually an extremely faithful adaptation of that portion. They take out a couple episodes. I think they added a couple little minor things.
Yeah.
But the director of the anime himself said that he didn't know where the story was going. It's no wonder he never came back for a second season. But anyway.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yes.
So why don't we rank this? So, ranking the NIS portion.
Yes.
I will give it a masterpiece for me.
I will too.
I thought this was an amazing series.
It is one of my favorite series, yes.
And I was kind of conflicted about it for a while, but when I had read that, what you had talked about with the director, I was like, okay, well, he didn't have any knowledge of that.
Right.
So I can feel okay with that. I'm okay with me liking this series. I'm not hawking the manga.
Right.
Speaking of series, by the way, this was 8/7/12. So, speaking of series that I'm not so hot on, September 11th, a day that will live in infamy. Which is kind of strange that they put this one on September 10th, but we'll come back to that one next part.
No, that's October 9th.
Oh, it's October 9th. There.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just that they were doing it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So they released a series called Ghastly Prince Enma Burning Up, which is a comedy series, if you can't tell by the very colorful presentation. I never did get the premium. I should have gotten it when I could, but I don't really care that I didn't.
I don't either, honestly.
But I did want it because I wanted to complete my collection.
Right.
I believe it's still in print. So, essentially, yokai and such are in the world. And this young girl is in her class, and these guys, this Snow Maiden, and this Kappa with this hat, magic hat, they work together as yokai busters to take down these evil yokai. This is Enma's sister, and she's kind of, well, I mean, she's freaking naked. She reminds me of the SOX character. Essentially,
And she has a sorting hat.
it tries to be funny, and sometimes it lands. It tries to be wacky, and sometimes it lands. But most of the time it doesn't. It's okay, but it really is kind of a lets the air out of those nice, powerful titles at the end. This one to me is about. This is, by the way, and it takes place in the 1970s, though I don't even know why they bother putting it in that time. It doesn't really reflect. But it really is, it's one of the ones that I can't give it a good rating. I can't give it a poor rating because I didn't hate it. So it has to be a so-so rating.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's just no.
Ghastly. Not just ghastly.
Hell, that's why it's ghastly. It's just that bad. So that's it for the time being.
That gets us up through near the end of 2012, I believe, right?
Yep, so I'm going to take this next picture
Okay.
so you guys can see where we are.
Definitely good overall.
See, as you can see on the screen, we do have some good here going on. I'm going to save this to our documents so I can make sure that we get this going. And I've lost my screen, so we're just kind of looking at this talking, and I don't even know if we're getting recorded at this point.
I should hope so.
But while we are doing this, why don't we start wrapping up with something that is, well, we talked about spoilers. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe if you like.
Yeah.
And otherwise, have a nice day. But if you want to hear the spoilers, well, stick after the credits.
And stay tuned for what we said a couple weeks we were going to do part
we'll do part 2.
Okay.
And at the end, last week of March, we'll do part 2.
Okay.
So we'll see you then. And if you want those spoilers, stay tuned until after the credits. We guys stayed around till after the credits for the spoilers for Bunny Drop. So, time skip.
We were pretty good about spoilers overall with the series. I didn't even think about that. There was some potential spoilers, but yeah, so if you feel like reading the manga by Yumi Umeta, I will say, first of all, it's well written, and stuff happens after the time jump that's pretty good. But there's a basic theme, progression that I know bugged the crap out of you and a lot of other people, and even I found it quite icky. I think they did a good job of writing it, but it was one that, did you really need to do this? No, you didn't. So basically, Rin at 16 is very much a homebody. She is she's not really shy, but she doesn't feel the need to go out and do things with others. This boy that she's grown up with is still frustrated in love. He is in love with her, and she sees him as sort of a friend. And the guy, you thought Daikichi was going to end up with the boy's mother, and now they're friends, but yeah, she barely registers. And eventually, Rin does make amends with her actual birth mother, and that story arc, I think, was pretty nice, and I think they did a good job with that. her birth mother had given her up because she was a child, not really age-wise, but mentally a child when she had Rin. And the grandfather had actually claimed her as his own, but she wasn't. So that was like a revelation later in the manga, if I remember correctly. But because of that revelation, it opens the door for Rin to just stay at home. That's literally what happens. She's like, I am so happy as I am, and Daikichi, I don't need anyone else. So, yes. So, there are those who might accuse him of, what's the word, grooming or whatever, even though he really wasn't.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not the way most, I think it wasn't the way most Japanese audiences wanted the story to go, but it's definitely not the way most American audiences wanted it to go. The manga had gone from being highly acclaimed to a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It could have gone better.
It could have gone better. But be aware of this. If you ever start clamoring for season 2 of the anime, it's probably just as well. We only got
good to end here. Sometimes it's better left alone.
Yes. Sometimes you can't really use the phrase sometimes dead is better, but what's the equivalent here?
Actually, sometimes maybe the WB could take this over and make those subtle changes they make to all those comic book adaptations, and then they could change the ending to be appropriate.
If someone wanted to tackle that, and if they were willing to potentially piss off the manga's most loyal fans, then yes, I think season 2 could be a really good show. But you would have to make some major structural changes to the entire season. But yes, again, if you want to just enjoy season 1 and forget everything we just told you, have at it. It is a phenomenal show. And the movie, I think, covered the same ground. I think they also made no effort to do a movie based on the... which is one of those many live-action movies floating around that I would love to see, but will never get an American release.
Yeah.
I think Kimi ni Todoke has one of those too, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
And man.
So so far our totals have been pretty interesting. Mostly good. Mostly good, but but very few in the great category.
But there have been some. So, good times.
Well, with that being said, I hope you thought it was worth it.